A very good evening to you all and welcome. Welcome to another episode of Leadership Satsang. Thank you so much for joining in. I am really excited about the topic that we have for today, which is about meditation and what is the right way to meditate. The reason why you're looking at this session right now or you've joined me live is because something in you has been prodding and pushing you to look at meditation as a part of your routine. You've been wanting to bring it in. You know it is useful. Everyone's been saying the same thing, but for whatever reason, it's not fitting into my life. And maybe that is one of the reasons why you're connecting with this session right now. And there could be a few others, especially when it comes to doing it the right way. What is the right way to meditate? Is there one way to do it? Is there a right or a wrong way to do it? Are some of the things that I'm going to touch upon in this very brief session on meditation and mindfulness. So let me hear from my live audience first. Where are you joining me from? Which part of the world are you in as we speak? This is 8 p.m. IST. I'm in Delhi right now, and I'm super excited to share a few things about meditation, about how it helps us, and what are a few things that we can do differently so that we can get more from this practice of meditation. My name is Yukti Kapoor Mehndiratta, as you know. Thank you so much for having me as your coach. The entire platform of Leadership Satsang is curated with the intention to give a small window to you all to put out your questions and challenges related to leadership. And that is why no matter what happens, I will always ensure that I'm here with you every Tuesday 8 to 8:30 IST Indian Standard Time, so that we can have that interaction and I can put out my 2 cents on how you can overcome your leadership challenges. While we have a specific topic every week, it doesn't stop you from asking your specific questions. So the way to do that is to write to me on yukti@sbyacademy.com. There is a lot of video content I've been putting out quite consistently now on Insta, and on Insta my handle is Yukti Talks. So please check it out and see if you find it useful. Would love to know your comments and your feedback on that too. All right, so Sanjay, so good to have you back. Farida, wonderful that you're here. Bharat, Malar, thank you. Satya, thank you for being here. From Mumbai, Praveen, seeing you after a long time. Glad you're here. Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining in live and for being a part of a discussion on meditation, something that we all are aware is useful, but we have our own reasons why we're probably not as consistent. But before I put that as an assumption, I'm curious to know how many of you actually meditate consistently. Just say me in the chat box if you're doing it consistently, and then we can talk about how we can do this differently if there is merit in doing it differently, right? So I'm going to give you some of the reasons why we should consider that. But is anybody in the room right now who's joined me live practicing meditation consistently? Give me a yes or a no. No is also a very good answer. If it's a no, it's a no. And we'll make that no into a yes today, right? That's the intention of having this session. Not so consistent. All right. Dipashri is doing it consistently. Wonderful, Dipashri. Krishna from Isaac, welcome Krishna to the session. Tell me, guys, are you doing this consistently? Not doing it? No, not doing it. That's perfectly fine. You miss it sometimes. Absolutely all right. Yeah, Jason, you're doing this consistently. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay. All right, not doing this. So let's understand what is meditation and why so many people are talking about it, and so many of us are feeling guilty somewhere that we're not doing enough of this, and we know it's good, and yet we've got our own reasons to not bring it in as a consistent habit. What is meditation? Meditation is a practice that helps us to become actively calm and calmly active. That's what meditation helps us to achieve. I'll say this again. It helps us to be actively calm and calmly active with everything that we need to do in our day-to-day life. It gives us the ability to be in the present moment. And that's what mindfulness is all about as well. There is so much talk on mindfulness. There are so many other people talking about how to bring that in, how it is a good practice to have, etc. And absolutely all of that is true. Yet what it really means and translates into is our ability to be in the present moment. That is mindfulness. What does meditation do? Meditation brings in that as a practice. It's a practice that brings us into the present moment. And hence, meditation is given that kind of importance. And we're all talking about meditation and how to meditate and why to meditate, etc. Is there any one way to meditate? Maybe not. Is there a better way to meditate? Maybe a yes, right? And so I want to share with you a few things that you could keep in mind when you are practicing meditation consciously. Before I go there, let me spend a moment on what is this whole fuss over being in the present moment, right? What do you mean by present moment? I'm here, I am in the present moment. I'm right now listening to you. So I am in the present moment. And while you are in the present moment, when you're listening to me in this session, somehow another thought crops up in your mind and takes you away from that moment. And then you come back realizing, oh, hang on, I was here and I was listening to something and I missed out. In fact, if you realize, sometimes even when you're reading a book, you could be reading it absolutely well, and yet you could lose focus mentally, right? So you're reading because you know this skill. You know reading really, really well. You've been practicing the skill to read for many, many years now, which means you have developed the ability to read without consciously getting involved in it. Just as how you drive. If you've been driving for years, you can drive without driving consciously. You're not thinking that, okay, now I need to press the accelerator, now I need to press the clutch, and now this is when I push the brakes. It's just happening. It's an auto mode, right? How is it becoming an auto mode? Because it has now become a habit. And that habit is now residing in your subconscious space. It's no more in your conscious space, the cache memory of your CPU. Are you understanding? So now it's a part of your subconscious. You just know it. That's how reading is for you today. And that's how meditation can be. If you bring that in as a habit of being in the present moment. Why? Because there is only one such moment. And once that moment passes by, it's gone. That's it. Now you can keep thinking about what happened in the past, and the past is not coming back, and you can keep planning what will happen in the future, and it will only happen when it happens. But what is happening in this moment is what is happening in this moment. And when you live life one moment at a time, and one moment at a time, the richness that you will experience in your life will be beyond what money can buy. As much as the whole race is about wealth and money and becoming a unicorn or a billionaire or whatever that aspiration is somewhere, and all that is fine. But what is the fun in getting to a point where you haven't really enjoyed the entire journey of being there? And that journey is about being into one moment at a time, one moment at a time. Imagine the quality of your experiences from every single event if you could be with that experience 100%. If you could be listening to this session right now 100%, with 100% focus, imagine the quality of that experience and what you will take away if you are in that moment, for that moment, 100%. That comes with practice. Meditation helps you to practice that. So there is a very common excuse that I hear from people about not having enough time. Do you feel that? Do you feel you don't have enough time? You really want to do it. You get it that it's important. But look at my life. I have chores to run. I have a job to do. I have expectations to meet up with. And you know what? I mean, as much as I want, I'm not getting the time to meditate. Is that your story? Just say yes in the chat box and let me see if you're somebody who's struggling with time. I don't have time. Yeah? Anybody here who's not finding enough time? Say no time, no time. And I'm not saying you never have time, but it's often the case. And hence, it's probably not a very consistent practice. You don't have the time. Yeah, Hiren, thank you. Thank you for that honest confession. And I know you speak for many other people who might or might not be comfortable in confessing to the fact that we use time as an excuse to not meditate. But if we don't bring in that practice of being in the present moment, we are not in that moment in anything else that we do. So if you want to bring in that quality into every experience of your life, you need to bring in a conscious practice first. And that starts with finding time for what's important for you. Because if you don't have the time to do what you think is important, then I wonder where is your time going? And I would like you to wonder as well. Think about where your time is going if it is not towards what you think you should do. If you know that meditation is going to work for me and it is important, you will make time because it is your time. It is not something that somebody else needs to give to you. What is important to be done is to be clear about why you want to meditate. When that why becomes clear, the intention behind it becomes clear, is when you're able to prioritize it. And the moment you prioritize something, you make time for it. If you don't prioritize brushing your teeth, you will skip that also sometimes. Isn't that true? No matter how busy you are, you have always made it very clear to yourself in your mind that I'm not stepping out of the house before I brush my teeth, or I'm not going to eat anything before I brush my teeth, or the first thing I will do when I wake up every morning is to brush my teeth. Whatever is your approach towards it and the reason why you do it, you're clear about the fact that you need to do it, and then it becomes very easy to prioritize. It's not just about meditation. For any other thing in your life which you consider is important, you will see that making time for it will not be a challenge. Why? Because you will know how to prioritize it. It's as simple as that. How do you bring that into a habit? Start stacking it up. Start connecting it with maybe brushing your teeth, right? I'm going to meditate first thing in the morning before I brush my teeth. I'm going to get out from the bed, sit on the floor right next to my bed and meditate. Maybe that's what you could do. Or soon after I brush my teeth, I'm going to meditate. What is that one habit that you already have after or before which you will make time to meditate? It's called stacking habits, very beautifully explained in a book called Atomic Habits. So this is just one of the many ways in which you can bring it in with more consistency. But before we talk about being consistent, we need to pay attention towards the reason why we want to meditate, and that is your reason. Until such time you find that reason, you will always have some of the other excuse to not do it. And the moment you find the reason to do it, you will know how to prioritize, and you will know how will you make it happen and make it a part of your routine. So now let me come to a few important things that I need you to know about meditation. So before I tell you how to prepare for it, let's look at maybe 4 steps that we can take towards meditation. So the first thing when we start to meditate is to be clear about the intention with which you are meditating. What is that intention in that moment on that day? And the intention can vary. So on one particular day, you could meditate to bring in more balance. Another day, you could meditate to bring in more peace. Okay. The next day, you want to meditate because you want to be happier or you want to have higher energy levels. What is your intention to meditate? Is the first step that you take before you start meditation. The second thing is to set ridiculously low goals for yourself, right? So if you're a non-starter, does not mean that you will never get a hang of it. Start by setting a target of 1 minute, 1 minute every day. That's all I'm asking you to do, right? 1 minute of meditation every day. And then slowly increase that to 2 minutes and 5 minutes. What is the ideal time when meditation becomes a lot more effective? Research proves 12 minutes is the minimum that we should spend in meditation for us to get maximum benefit from that as a practice. Does not mean that 12 minutes has to be your start point. No, start with 1 minute and then slowly get to 12 and then go beyond to the extent that you can. And you will when you continuously keep practicing. Because here is the thing about meditation. The more you practice meditation, the more you want to meditate. The less you practice meditation, the lesser you want to meditate. That's how it is. So if you want to bring it into a practice as your habit, as your routine, then fix a certain goal, a certain target, and stick to it no matter what. The third thing about meditation is to set a specific time and place if possible. If possible, right? Don't change that time every single day. It's also a very good tip to bring in any new habit. So if you want to bring this in as a habit, decide, I'm going to do this first thing in the morning. I'm going to do this at like 6 o'clock, or I'm going to do this at whatever time in the day when I know it will be possible for me. And I stick to that timing every single day. And if possible, also the place where you meditate. One place where you should avoid meditating is the bed that you sleep on. Right? You should try and kind of choose another place, a corner in your house where the energy levels are higher, or you feel so. Maybe somewhere in your office, if you have some silence and some privacy around, find a place where you feel more centered, more connected, and see if you can use that place every single time to meditate. And the last thing to remember about meditation is to be kind to yourself. Do not meditate to prove a point, not even to yourself. Meditation is not a performance, it is not a chore, it is not a point to prove. It is a practice of being in the present moment because you choose to be in the present moment, because you deserve to experience life as life is happening to you while you're in that moment and in that experience, instead of analyzing it later or anticipating it in advance. There is no joy in that, right? The joy is by being into that moment. So this is what we do, or we have to be mindful of when we are preparing ourselves to meditate. Let me take up a few questions that people usually ask on meditation. And in the meantime, if you have any specific question, put it out in the comments box right away and I'll pick that up. I'll start in the next morning, no matter what it takes. But it's a wonderful day to start, Hiren. Absolutely. Thank you for that comment. I think just get started right away. Okay, let me take up a few questions that people usually ask on meditation. So one question that I often am asked is, can we meditate any time in the day? The answer is yes. However, please make sure that you are a little light on your stomach. Maybe not empty stomach, but a little light, which means don't meditate soon after having a meal. The best time is 6 in the morning, or 12 in the afternoon, or 6 p.m., 6 in the evening, or 12 midnight. So these four time zones are considered to be the best time to meditate, also because it's a meridian shift for the earth, for our planet, and that's when the energies are higher, a much better time to dive into meditation if possible. So 6 a.m. or 6 p.m., 12 a.m., 12 p.m. are the best times to meditate. Having said that, no time is a bad time to meditate. The next question that I'm asked is there a specific way to sit? Is there a specific direction to look at when you're meditating? Well, there is some interesting fact that I want to share with you all, and it is quite scientifically proven, hence I'm putting it out. And as a practitioner myself, I've seen this working well for me. So when we are meditating, we prefer to face east, if not the north. We should avoid facing the west and the south, right? Preferably east, if not the north. How do we sit for meditation? Well, it's simple. Make sure that your body is not stressed. There is not too much strain on your muscle, because we are going through what we are going through, and we could have some discomfort in sitting very straight. However, if possible, make sure that your spine is as straight as it can be, but your shoulders are relaxed. Now look at the difference, okay? If I'm sitting straight, this is how I look. This is how I am, like straight right now. My back is straight and I'm looking straight. And now my back is still straight, but my shoulders are relaxed. If I relax my shoulder, my entire body feels a lot more relaxed. Many of us don't have the habit of keeping our spine straight. Our posture is such that we slouch when we sit. This in itself is very, very damaging with or without meditation, to slouch and sit. So you have many reasons to work on your posture and make sure that if your spine is straight, you feel more relaxed than tired. If you're feeling tired in this posture, means that your posture has not been right for a very long time. It's going to take some time for you to correct the posture. Meditation is a great time to bring that practice in. So in those 10 minutes, 12 minutes, 30 minutes, see if you can sit straight, spine straight, shoulders relaxed. Where to place your hands? Anywhere you're comfortable placing them, right? Should you put it in any kind of a specific mudra? Yes and no. Depends on you. I will leave it to you. But there is no, no hard and fast rule on exactly what the position should be, as long as your arms are relaxed and your attention is on your breathing. And that takes me to the next question. And the question is, well, what do I do if my mind wanders? I am in the meditation, I'm using guided meditation, but my mind goes somewhere else. How do I meditate? And then when that happens, you know what happens, Yuki? I kind of give up because I feel this is so technical. It's not helping me. I'm just sitting with my eyes closed, but my mind is everywhere and I'm not able to stop that. How do I stop thinking? Wow, Naveen, you asked exactly that question, right? So what to think during meditation? Now, here is the thing, guys. Thoughts will come and go. Having thoughts is a very human thing to have, right? So if you're humans, we're going to have these random thoughts coming in and the mind will wander. That's the nature of our mind. If you try to change that, if you try to control that, you're only exhausting yourself and it's quite a futile exercise. So what should you do instead? You need to just acknowledge the thought that comes in front of you as you close your eyes to meditate and allow that thought to pass like a passing cloud. It's not theoretical. It is possible if you practice this. Practice is important because practice will bring in progress. Do not worry about perfection. Do not worry about performing meditation in a certain way. Just see if you can practice looking at your thought and allowing it to pass instead of getting sucked into that thought by attaching emotions with the thought, by attaching your feelings with the thought. Can you keep that aside and look at a thought like something that you're looking at, maybe a cloud in the sky, and allow that to pass and let another one come in if it has to, and let that pass as well. What helps us to do that is to bring our attention to our breathing. The fact that we breathe is a testimony of us being alive, isn't it? So when you want to feel alive in a moment, the best way to do that is to bring your attention to breathing. So anytime you catch your mind wandering, bring it back to your breathing. Again, it goes out of your hand somewhere else, bring it back to breathing. Every single time you come back to your breath is one big step forward in terms of being successful with this practice of meditation. It's a game, and let's bring that, that playfulness in meditation. We don't have to take it very seriously. Again, I will say it is not some kind of a performance. We are not proving a point. We are not trying to show ourselves to be something or someone. We are just practicing being in the present moment. So if in for 10 minutes I'm able to bring myself back 5 times, 10 times, 20 times, 100 times, each time I'm bringing myself back, I am becoming better with this practice of meditation. So please do not consider it to be a wrong way to meditate. As much as I'm talking about a few right ways to do that, there is no wrong way to do that. The only wrong way to meditate is to not meditate at all. So bring in those 10 minutes, 15 minutes for your own sake so that you know what it feels like to be in the present moment. So there was a question on back problem. If you have a back problem and blood circulation could be a problem, how do you deal with that? Well, even lying down is a good posture for meditation. But a lot of people land up slipping into sleep, right? So if you get into the sleep mode, is that good or bad is another common question. Now, the fact that we are slipping into sleep is because our body is asking for it, right? Most of us are sleep deprived. most of us, because we're not enjoying that quality of sleep today as we need to, as we should, as we must. And that could be for multiple reasons: the stress levels of our life, the responsibilities, the environment, the thoughts, the mind taking you back and forth, whatever the reason might be. A lot of us are not sleeping as well as we need to sleep. So the moment we lie down, we get into a meditative state, we slip into our sleep. That is an indication of us not getting enough sleep, and the body is asking for more rest. This is when I would suggest bring in more self-care, bring in more self-love, bring in more self-compassion and kindness, and give yourself that rest, not necessarily while you meditate, but even otherwise. So if you slip into sleep, it's all right because your body is asking for it. But if you are taking good care of yourself, you will not slip into sleep. You will still be in a meditative state where you can bring yourself back to your breath. If it becomes a challenge for you to do that, another way to come into the present moment and be in the present moment is to feel your heartbeat. So you could lie down with your hands on the heart chakra, which is right at the center of your heart, and feel the heart beating. And be with that sensation for those 5 minutes or 10 minutes that you have blocked for meditation. You can set an alarm for yourself and make sure that you can feel this sensation as much as possible in that limited time. And that also will help you to be more meditative than slipping into sleep. So you don't have to necessarily sit straight, but what is important is to look at thoughts as clouds and allow them to go by. Do not struggle to control them. Do not struggle to stop thinking, because the more you try to resist, the more it will persist. In fact, anything in life that we resist will persist. That's the law of the universe. So let's not resist thoughts. They're going to be there. They will always be there. What we have to learn as practitioners is to not get sucked into these thoughts. So with that, let me conclude today's satsang. I hope this was useful. If you have any question, it's a good time to put it out. How to meditate early morning between 5 to 6, Kasturi, I think just answered that. Yes, 5 to 6 is a great time. When you're empty stomach, it's a very, very, good body condition to have to meditate. How to meditate? In the beginning, you can use guided meditation so that your mind is occupied and busy and there is something to think because you're going along with the instruction. Over a period of time, you will realize that you don't need guidance while you meditate. You can be sitting in silence and focus on your breathing, or feel the sensation of your heart beating, and you can be in that meditative state. Even walking around is, in the nature or by yourself with no distractions, could be a meditative experience. It comes with practice. The practice is to come back to your breath, because every single breath will bring you back to the moment in which you are taking in that breath. And that is why it's all about coming back to your breath and coming back to your breath. And every single time you make time to do this, you should pat your back. The way to bring in consistency, as I said a while back, is to set a specific time and a specific place to do it, and see if it can seep into your routine. When you make it a part of your habit by stacking it over another habit that you already have, it becomes much easier for you to bring this in as a practice. Now, there is a course on guided meditation that I have curated. Be happy to share that with you. If you find it useful, then please go ahead and use those 7 meditations. I wish I could give you the experience of one of them. I wanted to, but then there was so much I needed to share with you on meditation. But you could pick this course up. These are 7 different intentions to meditate. As I said, it should always start with the intention. So there are 7 different intentions that I have put out in these meditations, and using this guided meditation, you will be able to bring yourself into this routine of meditating. It ranges from 10 minutes to 30 minutes, and you can choose depending upon how much time you have in a particular day, or the intention, a specific intention that you want to bring in. So we'll share that link with you. If Bharat from my team or someone can just put up the link in the comments, and we'll also put it out maybe on LinkedIn later. Music necessary in the background? No, Prashant, it's not necessary. Like I said, you could be sitting in silence and meditating, and that's perfectly fine, right? As long as you're bringing in the practice of coming back to your breath or to that sensation of your heart beating, right? So something that brings you back into the moment is what will help you to practice meditation, with or without music, whatever works for you. You could only listen to maybe some calming music, and no guidance, nobody giving you instructions, and using that music you could connect with yourself and your breath and be in a meditative state. That's possible as well. Okay, so what is sensation in meditation when someone can't sit in a specific posture, Harish? What will happen over a period of time is that your tolerance and threshold to be in a particular posture will start improving and increasing. It's a matter of practice. So if it comes to a point where you're feeling too tired and you're not able to hold up that position, see if you can continue being in that position with your eyes open. It's all right if you can keep your eyes open and stay in that state of meditation. It also helps you to feel a little less tired if you do that. Beyond that, if it's kind of gone beyond tolerance and your threshold, then you can lose that position and put your legs out or relax your body in the way it needs to be or feels more relaxed, and continue coming back to your breath. But my recommendation would be to push yourself a little bit at a time so that you're able to go beyond your comfort zone. In fact, stretch your comfort zone from what it is today to what it can be, because you can get yourself there. It's just a matter of practice. And with that, I would like to conclude today's satsang, and I do hope that this was a useful session for you all. Any more questions on meditation, please bring it on in the comments when we put it out on LinkedIn, or write to me. I've shared my email already. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to next Tuesday at 8 o'clock IST with another important and interesting insight on leadership and spirituality. Thank you. God bless you all.